Okay, so today we have Talking Heads and Burning Down the House. Gonna watch the video hopefully today. So yesterday I did a reaction to Talk, and I figured, well, why not do Talking Heads? I mean, it seems to fit very well. So anyway, it's been a while since I've done a Talking Heads song, and this one has many views, so I don't know if I know it or not. But either way, I don't know enough Talking Heads songs. That's one of the reasons I'm coming to react to them again, because from everything I've heard, I love. But I don't know this one, and I want to know more. So let's get into it, talk about it after, and yeah, let's go. Talking Heads. Ooh. Uh-oh.
Watch out! You might get what you're after. Cool ladies, strange but not a stranger. I'm an ordinary guy, burning down the house. Hold tight, wait till the party's over. Hold tight, we're in for nasty weather. There has got to be a way, burning down the house. It's a quick pack your bags, time for jumping overboard. Transportation is here, close enough but not too far. Maybe you know where you are. Fighting fire with fire. Always. You might need a raincoat. Shake down. Dreams walking in broad daylight. 365 degrees. Burning down the house. It was once a brighter place. Sometimes I listen to myself. Caught up coming first place. People on their way to work. And baby, what do you expect? Caught up burst into flame.
Uh-oh. A synthesizer solo.
Burning down the house. My house. Down on the ordinary. That's right. Don't wanna hurt nobody. Some things sure can sweep me off my feet. Burning down the house. No reason for me to support, and you have not seen nothing yet. Everything stuck together. I don't know what you expect, staring into the TV set. Fighting fire with fire.
Okay, so there it is, Burning Down the House by Talking Heads. So every time I listen to a Talking Heads song, through or watch a music video from them, or a live performance, whatever it is, I mean, I'm reminded of what a performer David Byrne is and was, and I mean, he just such an enigmatic guy, and I mean, his facials, his facial expressions, his clothes. Obviously, here wearing all white, and obviously there was a time where he would wear the big suits, and he's just again a tall, lanky guy, almost kind of looks similar a little bit to something like Norman Bates or something. Again, if you think about, or if you've ever listened to his isolated vocals, of course, on a song like Psycho Killer or whatever, and just how creepy he can sound, and his vocal, I don't know if I've ever come across anyone who's ever, sounded like David Byrne. I mean, obviously his vocals are so distinctive. It's hard to really even explain the way he just sings and the way he just yelps. And here again, I love the vocal melody, and just I don't know, it's so catchy, and it's so there's a fly in here messing me up. Anyway, it's so catchy, and it's just so it's so David Byrne. I mean, that's the only way you can really say it. I just bopping my head along, and you can tell, and makes you want to move. And again, there's another thing: his dance moves are always impeccable, and it's just like he's the funkiest white guy you'll ever come across. It's just nuts. But anyway, I just love David Byrne, and again, every time I listen to the Talking Heads, I'm like, it's just for me as well, because I underrate the Talking Heads. I underrate this band, and I feel like whenever you listen to one of their songs, it's just like, I feel it's like you almost get a sense of like this band should be bigger, even though they are big. It's just, I don't know, there's that kind of a feeling as well, because they are inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and all that crap. But anyway, it's just every time I listen to them, I get a little bit more of a bit more appreciation for them. There it is. Anyway, I talk so much about David Byrne and how much he stole the show here, but at the same time, he was not the only one who stole the show. Cause friggin' Chris France here on drums, of course, from the opening, just the that's a great impression. But anyway, he was so funky, and so he was obviously the backbeat, like many drummers are for a song. But anyway, he was just so undeniable. He was just so funky, obviously, and I loved how he played off of David's voice. And of course, you have to talk about Tina Weymouth on synth bass here, it says, and Jerry Harrison, who was on synthesizers. Who I think Jerry he's usually on a guitar or something. Hold the phones, talk amongst yourselves. Guitarist and keyboardist, but here it just says he played synthesizers. So either way, this is on personnel from Wikipedia. But anyway, and obviously the synthesizers, like I talked about, there's a synthesizer solo in there, which was unexpected, but I loved it a lot. And again, obviously with Talking Heads being new wave, being an art rock band, whatever, and obviously here, a very good funk band as well. But I forget what I was talking about earlier. But yeah, Tina, I wanted to say, and Chris was great. To finish off that point, Chris was just fantastic. Loved his drumming, loved his style, loved his rhythm. He was just so goddamn good in his pocket. He was just so, the whole band obviously was so tight. And I do know, I don't know what they're like today, but I do know that, they've not always, been fond of each other, whatever. But goddamn, they could play so well together. They, it's almost like a jam session here. And they just knew each other so well. But anyway, Tina Weymouth, I have to say, obviously, on synth bass here, she, I don't know if I've said it before, but she's almost like, the secret weapon of the band. Because again, this is 1983 when this came out, 40 years ago now. My God. But anyway, the secret weapon, there were some bands, obviously, with women in though, back in these days. But again, it wasn't as popular or as big as it is today, whatever. If some women were in rock bands or whatever, some people would say, oh, that's different, whatever. But now today, it's, thankfully that's changed. But anyway, some people didn't think, some boomers, whatever, didn't think women could rock. And back here, obviously, Tina couldn't give a shit about that. And she just played that bass like nobody else. And again, you had people back here, like Stevie Nicks or like Hart, obviously with Nancy and Ann Wilson, or Joan Jett and the Runaways themselves and everything. So there were a few bands, but obviously it wasn't as, prominent as it is today. But anyway, Tina was just obviously very influential, very iconic woman in rock at this time. And anyway, I always have to give her flowers, because goddamn, oh my goodness, I'm talking fast or something. Okay, so I talked about all that, all the instruments and everything. Like I said, really enjoyed the synth solo, and almost, I have to say about that synth solo, almost reminded me of, like, it could be in a hip hop song or something. Maybe it has been sampled in a hip hop song. I don't know, but almost reminds me of something like the Beastie Boys could do. And the Beastie Boys here would come along about 1986 or whatever, a few years after Talking Heads. But anyway, just got some hip hop vibes from the synth solo, and they were just so good. And there's a bug on my wall. Hold the phone. When you see an earwig climbing on your wall, You gotta do something. So anyway, I wanted to get the lyrics, but that guy interrupted me, or whatever it is. So we're gonna get into the lyrics now. But first, I want to talk about the title of the song, of course, being "Burning Down the House." And I mean, coming into this, I'm thinking, is he actually talking about burning down your house? I mean, is he talking about arson? Is he talking about, or is it a metaphor, of course? So either way, I'm intrigued off the bat. But there is a quote here from David Byrne, and I mean, here's your, from the horse's mouth, as they say. So Byrne says, burning down the house. Byrne says burning down the house. Yeah, wasn't a song about arson. So there we go. When I wrote the lyrics in 1982, the title phrase was a metaphor for destroying something safe that entrapped you. I envisioned the song as an expression of liberation to break free from whatever was holding you back. So obviously, very relatable, very, beautiful, very great message, whatever, I think of, I want to break free from Queen, whatever, breaking free from anything, being liberated, being free. My God, it's all great. And then he goes on, as for the rest of the lyrics, there are no hidden messages. There's no logical linear connection. They aren't telling a story or signifying anything. I just love how adamant he is on this. It's, there's nothing there. He goes on, I simply combined aphorisms and non sequiturs that had an emotional connection. So again, I just love how, he's talking about there's nothing there. And then he just says, I took some non sequiturs, some aphorisms, and, whatever I was feeling at the time with emotions. And here you go. To, work on and go off of the whole thing of being free and all this stuff. So anyway, I just love how burning down the house is a metaphor and how he took that in that way, because again, now the lyrics do kind of make more sense to me. I mean, and just to talk about the song being so carefree and the way that it sounds like it was crafted. Again, I don't know if it was a song that came together quickly or not, whatever, but at the same time, it feels like one of those songs. It feels like this was because I talk about, I think, how this sounds like almost a jam session, and that's I guess what's the word, fitting, because apparently this kind of came from a jam session that I see here on Genius.com, because Chris France talked about it. And there's just one more thing I want to read. I don't usually read a whole bunch of crap, but anyway, it says here, Chris France said that the title of the song came from a chant screamed by the audience during a Parliament Funkadelic concert, and I imagine that's where the funk came from. They were just feeling very inspired, I guess, and Chris apparently during a jam session was yelling out "Burn Down the House," which was the chant from the concert, and David dug it and then turned it into "Burning Down the House." And obviously Chris, I mean, he was just hyped up, it sounds like, because then he took all those funky sounds and whatever from Parliament Funkadelic and just, I mean, my God, just fit it right into this track. And like I say earlier, that he's undeniable, he's unmissable in this whole thing. But anyway, getting to the lyrics for actual freaking freak sakes here. First verse here, watch out, you might get what you're after. That sounds a little bit dark in a way, you might get what you're after. Cool babies, strange but not a stranger. I'm an ordinary guy. Burning down the house. So when he says I'm an ordinary guy and then burning down the house, kind of, again, burning down the house almost being another way to say trying to break free or trying to be liberated, whatever. It's saying I'm an ordinary guy, but I want more in a way. And also there is an annotation here on Genius.com, and they talk about how this could be David talking about himself, because of course he has Asperger's syndrome, and talks about how he's strange but not a stranger. I'm an ordinary guy. And again, I know that David has talked about his Asperger's before, and I forgot to mention that earlier. Maybe that's why he's such a unique frontman, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, and how he goes on though, and how it talks about maybe it's not about that, but just an ordinary guy trying to get ahead in life as well. So I mean, yeah, you can take it, however you want, I guess. But anyway, hold tight. Wait till the party's over. Hold tight. We're in for nasty weather. There has got to be a way. Burning down the house. So again, like David said earlier, the big message here is to breaking free and being liberated, and have nothing else really matters, I guess, in the song. And it just sounds like he's just using, like he said, other ways to say the same kind of thing that of being liberated and all this stuff and burning down the house. So that happens in the second verse, and we go into the first chorus. Here's your ticket. Pack your bag. It's time for jumping overboard. The transportation is here. Close enough, but not too far. Maybe you know where you are. Fighting fire with fire. And again, you go on, packing your bag, getting ready to, again, try to get ahead and try to get liberated. That's what keeps coming back to my mind anyway. And then all wet, here you are, need a raincoat. Shake down, dreams walking in broad daylight. 365 degrees, burning down the house. Again, he's the way he's delivering these lyrics and in his writing style is just so different. And then you move on to the third chorus 3, last part here before the instrumental outro. No visible means of support, and you have not seen nothing yet. Everything's stuck together. I don't know what to expect. Staring into the TV set, fighting fire with fire. So obviously, how David talks about this song being an expression of, you know, being free, whatever. It sounds like the ending of the track, I mean, it kind of ends not on a dark note or maybe a sad note. I don't know. It ends on a interesting note either way, because, you know, talking about no visible means of support. Sounds like the person who wants to, again, break free. I keep saying that so many times, but I mean, that's what it is, I guess. Has no support, no means of support. And then David kind of says, well, you haven't seen anything yet. It's going to get worse in a way. Everything's stuck together. I don't know what to expect staring into the TV set. So it almost sounds like the person that this, you know, David is talking to in the song, whatever, has given up in a way, has, you know, again, just, I don't know what to expect watching the TV set. You know, I don't know what to expect when you don't do anything about your life, or when you don't do anything to try to get ahead or break free in your life. And how it's just fighting fire with fire, kind of like, you know, it's just kind of, you know, you're what you're trying to do to break free is very weird. It's like fighting fire with fire. Again, that's what comes to my little pea brain, but either way, great song, like I said, great relatable track as well. And I did see as well from ultimateclassicrock.com. Apparently, they say anyway, apparently this is the Talking Heads' only top 10 hit. No, I would imagine, I guess that they're talking about only top 10 hit in the US, but my God, I didn't know that they only had one top 10 hit. My God, they should have had way more. But anyway, that just kind of struck me as, you know, their only top 10 hit. Jesus Christ. But anyway, and it was this track. But a good track to get a top 10 hit, I guess. Anyway, at least they got one. But yeah, just a great, enigmatic track. Of course, David Byrne, I talked about it all the whole time, but he was such a great frontman here. And, you know, everybody was, you know, so funky, and everybody was so, you know, it looked like they were all having fun, all that stuff. Just, you know, a great feeling song, and with a great message. But again, at the end there, kind of, you know, catches you off guard and makes you think a little bit. It makes me think anyway, unless I'm completely wrong, which could be, you know, possible. But anyway, I guess that's all I gotta say. So thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting. This video was hard to make, I have to say. I mean, my God, I had to stop and pause a few times because I kept messing up. But we'll see how the finished product turns out, and hopefully it's not garbage. So anyway, thanks again for all the support, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.